Good morning. It's an beautiful almost fall morning, and we're heading back into the backyard for this next project, or at least the entrance of the backyard. So join me, and watch as we turn this and this into this. And this. And this. But first, let's go to my shop and look at the doors we'll be turning into the new gate. Okay, so here is one of the doors we're going to be turning into a garden gate. Here is the other garden gate, or the other door that's going to be a garden gate. And you can see they're in kind of rough shape, kind of like that. I'm just doing enough repairs in spots where it needs to be structurally sound, and I'm not fixing areas like this where panels are missing. I'm going to epoxy the whole thing and seal, so it'll be sealed against the elements somewhat. I don't want to lose the charm of all the chippy paint and the roughness of it. So I'm planning on just leaving it as is and just coating it as is. I'm not even going to clean it. Like I said, I like the dirtiness of it. It is going into a garden, after all. Right here you can see some chips of paint. I'm actually going to use those. I pulled them off of this door right here. I'm actually going to use these to repair some spots. These spots, it will just be that, you know, the wood putty. Kind of place them in there to kind of give it a little bit more, so it just doesn't look like it's been repaired. So for today's project, I'm going to take this metal fence off, or the gate off, and shroud the side pieces here in wood, and then we'll cover it with the two doors you've seen earlier, I hope. Or maybe you'll see them later. But you'll see two doors, and we're using those as our backyard gate. Okay, so took the gate off, and now what I'm doing is I got some 2x6s, some decking from my neighbor who redid his deck. So I'm using mostly salvage materials in this project, and I'm screwing these right to the 2x2 posts on the existing steel gate. And you can see I'm doing it very fast. So what you can't see very well from this side is what I'm doing is for those 2x2 posts, the steel posts, I'm actually using the 2x6s to shroud them, making my own posts out of the 2x6s. So from this side you can see what I've done here. You can also see the water stains on this wood. I just think it's absolutely beautiful. So on the other corner, I only am doing the corners, so I didn't completely shroud them. I may go back and do the rest of the fence. At this point, I'm not sure. I've got all kinds of other projects I want to do in my backyard, so we'll see how that goes. Okay, so I made a few changes as I was doing this, as I'm kind of designing as I go. And I'm short a couple of 2x6s, reclaimed 2x6s. So I'm gonna head back to my shop. Also gonna go to Home Depot. Going to go to my local home DIY hardware store and get some cedar fencing, and then I'm gonna come back and try and finish up this gate on the top. So I'm back, and not all fence slats are nice and straight, it turns out, but you probably knew this. So here I am putting up the fence slats, and these were the only new products or non-salvage products that I had to use in this project, because I couldn't find on such short notice the fence slats. And believe it or not, I did actually put more than one screw in each board. Just wanted to save you a little bit of the boredom, and you're welcome. So on this side, same as the first side, I'm using the 5/8 by 5.5 inch by 6 foot cedar fence slats, and then cutting off the dog ear at the top of them. Okay, so let's see how long of a take I can do without having to stop. So what I'm doing now is I've cut the first part, the front part of the beam, and I'm tracing onto the second board. Kind of cheating, I guess. But this would get me close enough. I like the roughness. I like the inexactitude of just being rough and not worrying too much about making sure everything's exact. So here I'm cutting the second board, and just about done. I'll come over and start attaching them to the top of the gate. Okay, so here I am. So the beams have been placed. They're actually one on either side of the facing board, so they're kind of sandwiching the facing board. And then I've just drilled a 1/2 inch hole and using 1/2 inch galvanized carriage bolts and washers to hold this all together, keep it nice and sturdy. It's also nice that the steel that I have screwed everything to and bolted everything to is actually cemented to the ground. So get that last little tighten in, and there's a ratchet, and then here you'll see finish what looks like with the 2 carriage bolts in the one corner. So for the frame, for the to add the doors, I had to rip down a piece of my decking to 1.5 by 1.25 or 1 3/8, so that it would catch the same thickness as the doors, to be able to catch the hinges. And I had to do that on both sides. So again, to keep the chippiness and everything of the doors and to protect them from the elements, they're coated in a high gloss clear epoxy, and it turned out really nice. They're a little glossier than I like, but not bad. So at this point I needed a little bit of help, so my wife Jen offered to hold the door for me while I screwed it in. She'd been watching me. She is the reason I do pretty much everything in the backyard I do, and a lot of my other projects too. She's definitely my muse, and she finds all the great stuff that we use in our projects. These doors, reason for the gate, she found everything in all the projects, windows, everything. She goes to estate sales and has a booth and has collected vintage since before we met over 25 years ago. And so if you'd like to follow her on Instagram, she's at 3 Daughters Vintage, and I'll have that up on the screen here. So just getting that second door up, and then we'll pretty much be all done. This one didn't fit quite as well. It's a little bit tight, but I think I was able to squeeze it in there and make it work. So as I'm getting that second door on, this project kind of came about just through Pinterest. I actually found a bunch of gates. We kind of wanted to change these gates for a while, and so I did some Pinterest looking, and we found one we really liked. We couldn't copy it exactly because we couldn't find that door, but we found these 2 great doors, or actually Jen found these 2 great doors, and so that's how it ended up this way, and we're super happy with it, I think. And yes, they open and they close, which is what doors do. So there you go, a finished garden gate made out of 2 salvage doors, some salvage redwood decking, and a few new fence slats, with a beautiful decoration, seasonal, by my beautiful wife Jen at 3 Daughters Vintage. There you go. Hey, so if you like what you see, I'd appreciate if you would subscribe. I think either over here, right somewhere in there, there's a subscribe button, or it might be right over here. I'm not really sure. When this is turned, I'm not really sure. Anyway, if you like what you see, I appreciate you subscribing, telling your friends. Also, I'd love to know what you think. Do you like more of the how-to, how I do things, or more of just me being me? You're going to get that anyway, but I'll know whether you want more of the how-to if you let me know. So thanks for subscribing, and thanks for watching.